We got the Season 2.5 patch notes for Marvel Rivals, and today we're going to talk about what's changing for the Vanguards. Starting it all off with Captain America, who's catching a few nerfs. He's losing 25 base health, and the cooldown of his Living Legend is increasing to 4 seconds, so now whenever he drops his shield, he's going to have to wait 4 seconds to be able to bring it back up. I really hate this change. I think it feels really clunky, and the fact that he can't just raise his arm up to block things just doesn't feel natural in the expectations of the game. I think there's other ways they could have changed this to not make this clunky feel where I just can't raise my arm and block, and it just doesn't make sense, and it feels really bad when you compare it to like Doctor Strange or other blocking characters. His ultimate now is also getting more energy required to be able to unleash it, so he's not going to be able to enter into his freedom charge nearly as often and become that unkillable machine that's been really annoying to deal with. I definitely understand why they're making this change. There's a lot of captain play that is really frustrating, and how easily he gets his ultimate fully charged. It can sometimes feel like he can almost have it twice in a single fight. Doctor Strange has seen nerf after nerf after nerf, and we're finally seeing a patch that's actually just giving him a straight up buff. The damage fall off from both his basic attack and his maelstrom is being reduced, so he's not going to have as much reduction in his damage output when you get further away from him. This is going to help him secure kills that he had difficulty getting, as well as make him a little bit more dangerous when he's played at his maximum range. Emma Frost is getting quite a few nerfs down the board and one slight buff. The range of her basic attack is being increased from 15.5 up to 18 meters. But along with this, her Aegis is going to have 100 less HP, and in her diamond form, the cooldown of her throat grab is being increased, and the damage from both her kick and sending enemies into the wall are both being decreased by 10. So she's going to have less burst potential against targets, and she's no longer going to have that insta-kill potential that can kill somebody in under a second. I think this is pretty good. I think Emma was way too good at killing squishy targets, and this is a great change to be able to bring her more in line with the damage output that other tanks reliably do. Groot is getting some much needed nerfs, but I'm not sure it's going far enough. His basic attack is getting a 5 damage reduction, and the cooldown of his Ironwood wall is going up from 8 seconds to 12 seconds. That's going to be a lot of survivability reduction on good Groots, and you're going to have a lot less ability to control the field, so we're going to see how much of a nerf that really hits him with, based off of how well people can deal with his walls. If you aren't taking out his Ironwood wall, this is going to not affect him at all. It's all about when he's actually being countered, how much more countered is he being. Magneto is getting a change that I think makes sense. The charge up time of his rings to be able to empower his alternate fire is being reduced. So instead of 4 seconds per ring, it's now going to be 3 seconds. It's very frustrating often playing as Magneto to get yourself charged all the way up to 3 and be able to use that ability, and it often feels like you're holding that ability for too long that feels natural. This change is going to make that ability feel quite a bit better. 9 seconds for full charge is going to feel great. And finally, Thor is getting a rework. His hammer throw is being removed from his global cooldown and can now be used independently from his dash. The cooldown is being increased up to 8 seconds, and the damage of it is being reduced significantly. But now it generates Thor Force instead of costing Thor Force. So if you don't have any hammers available to you to enter into your Awakening rune or to do your dash, you can do a hammer throw to quickly generate up Thor Force, and every target hit is going to generate you more force. From what I've seen from this makes Thor spend way more time in his Awakening rune form from a distance. It allows him to just constantly be throwing lightning hands. It makes him feel less useless when he can't get deep into the enemy team to constantly be generating that Thor Force. The option to gain a ranged Thor Force generator is going to be really powerful and a way to really shift his total change. To accommodate the fact that he's getting so much more Thor Force in his gameplay, he's now going to gain less bonus HP whenever he uses Thor Force. So both his dash and his Awakening rune are not going to give him as much survivability per use, but he's going to get more uses and is going to have that bonus health more often. A lot of Thor players are saying that this is going to be a nerf to him, and I'm not convinced that it is. I actually think we're going to see Thor becoming quite a bit of a problem with this, and he's going to spend a lot of time throwing lightning hands and being a significant outputter of damage. We're also going to see him using quite a few more dashes for mobility and to be able to get around, because when he doesn't have his Thor Force, he can now do a hammer throw, deal some damage, and regain his dash quite a bit quicker. For these tank changes, the only one I'm a little bit surprised with is the fact that Magneto is getting a buff when he is one of the strongest tanks. Everything else I think makes sense. They're bringing down the frustration of Captain America for other players, they're reducing the ridiculous power level of Emma Frost, and they're giving a slight change to Groot, so when he gets countered, he feels it more. And I think those are really good changes that we're going to see a positive increase in the tank play. Some more subtle changes for these tanks are the changes in the team-ups. The new Rocket Penny team up is actually, I think, going to be pretty insane for Penny. The ability to have 2 separate spider nests set down is going to let Penny set up so much faster and gain control of an area a lot quicker. She'll also be able to rotate between these 2 spider nests if she's fighting a team that's really effective at taking out the nest, meaning she has mines out in the game for a longer period. This also makes us that Rocket is going to be dropping some mines over by his BRB beacon, and it can give her more presence and ability to defend her team because her allies can hang out near the BRB beacon and be protected by mines while she's up front with her 2 sets of spider mines. This is a really big buff to Penny when Rocket's in the game, and I think this interaction is going to be pretty strong. One of the main uses of Venom is being removed from the game, and that's his team up with Spider-Man. Right now, Spider-Man becomes an absolute menace if he has the Venom team up, and with that gone, he's not going to be nearly the kill threat that he currently is. Venom's giving a new team up over to Jeff the Shark, but we don't see a lot of Venom-Jeff interactions already, and I'm not sure with the current changes to Jeff in this patch that we're going to see Jeff really popping up that much. You have to check the changes above about strategists to understand what's changing with Jeff, but it has the Jeff community up in arms right now. Hulk's team up is getting nerfed in 2 different ways. First, Iron Man's being removed from it, so he no longer gets that gamma buff. And second, the squid from Namor is not going to be as powerful, so we're not going to have as much passive power from Hulk being in the game. The Things team up with Invisible Woman is getting a 5-second increase in its cooldown, so he's not going to be as survivable when played at that top level. A lot of things with Invisible Woman are not using the ability every 20 seconds, so this increase to 25 shouldn't affect things too much across most of the board. This is mostly a change at the top end level of play. And finally, Emma Frost and Magneto are both getting another slight nerf, where there's a nerf coming to their team up. The benefits Magneto and Psylocke gain from the team up is being reduced from 30% damage to 20%, so the team up's just not as strong, and we're not going to see as much domination of that tanking pair. Let me know what you think about all these tank changes in the comments below. I'm Zesty Fresh with Games, and we'll catch you guys next time.